evening, everyone. This is Gil at Camp Patton Family Compound. With me tonight, got Tammy from Rebel Canners and Mark from Chef Tech. It is time for Monday Night Fireside Chat, and we got a couple topics tonight on tonight's show. If I get my tongue untied, we talked about protecting canning jars and give an update on what happened at the Food Independence Summit. So with that, here we are.
Hey, Tammy. You're on mute. There you
are.
So let's see who else came in here. Go up to the top here. Troop 1351 was in first, then Walt Rogers, then Phelan Clan Wolf. And Phelan's letting me know he's working with Sarah to set up the crew account. And the crew is here. These are the older scouts, age 14 to 21. Then Tammy's in there talking to people. And let's see. Shady Hill Homestead's here on both sides. Angel's Homestead is here. Diana Chu is here on both sides. And Mark has a bunch of equipment open there because he's there on both sides on both channels.
No, because when I chat on StreamYard, it pops up on both.
All right. And Kaylin Spain is here. She said, finally got a break from it. 75 and rain there with Kaylin there in Des Moines.
Send that my way, Kaylin. Please send that my way. It's supposed to be here about 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm hoping.
Going that way.
I'm hoping.
And all righty. Let's see. Abe Near's here. Lewis is here.
It's the Marshmallow Man.
And he's out in the garden watering.
Oh,
all right.
He's watering himself, too.
I had 4 more tomato plants, a jalapeno pepper plant, and a California Wonder pepper jump in my car as I drove by a little stand.
I hate it when that happens.
I know. Yeah. It just jumped in as I was trying to drive by, and the car swerved in, the door opened, they jumped in, and I went on my way.
Let's see. So since you mentioned the California Wonder, and I got several planted out here, do peppers like a lot of water or just a little water?
Sure.
They're peppers. You just got to look at them.
Okay.
They need water, obviously.
Yes.
They're peppers and their flesh is water.
They need more as the peppers are growing on there. But always,
yeah.
And I showed this to my grandson, take those first couple of peppers that form off.
Yep.
Rip
them off, throw them away.
No. Yep, we already had 2 on these because they were already in these little 3-inch pots. And they were making them. I'm like, nope, got to rip those off.
I learned that a long time ago. I bought a pepper at Lowe's. I planted it. It already had a little pepper on it. It never grew more than 14 inches tall. And I got 1 pepper that was garbage.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep. So we've already done that. But yeah, they need more water as they go along. So there's no right answer. You just have to.
I mean, don't plant them in the stream. That would be too much water.
Yeah.
All righty. So it looks like I'm looking at the numbers here. It looks like there are 13 on my side. It just dropped by 2. It was up to 16 total.
Yeah, the trolls dropped that because there's no live feed.
3 on your side, Tammy.
Thank you.
And all right, so hitting with the first part of the topic here. There's a link up there. I'm going to see if I can re-put that in down here again. Tammy put in. Where's the link? Okay, there we go. Highlight it.
Yeah, I did not know I needed these until I was leaving the summit last year, and Roots and Harvest were packing up their booth, and they gave me a few boxes of these. I think they gave me 1 of every size they had at that time. They now have half gallons.
Is that
So they gave
those are
me,
those jar
they gave me-
caddies, right?
yes,
Yeah,
and they're
they're
fabulous. They're double, so you can put them on and protect the whole entire jar, or you can use half at a time to carry your jars around. So like when I'm going up and down the stairs at Becca's, I would just put them in there to carry them up and down. I mean, you could get a milk crate, but it's not, they jingle against each other. This protects them way better than that. I did not know I needed them until I got them. And now I use them all the time. All the time.
I've looked at them. I'm like, I don't transport my jars enough to sort of warrant that, but you know, I could use I can use the steps going up and down the stairs to the basement. So I'll just make like 10 trips.
See, I got to start putting those potatoes in them and taking them places.
Potatoes. You can potatoes? Oh, dude, tell us more. Just kidding.
All right. Interesting thing about that, everyone's all these newfangled things are coming out for the jar protectors and stuff. I'm sorry. I know Tammy knows about this. Mark should know about this. But I grew up, the jars came in these boxes, these nice heavy-duty cardboard boxes that had fold-down lids on it. You open up, and there were dividers between all the jars. They couldn't rattle into each other or anything else. Most of our jars still have those boxes. Then the ones we bought during the beginning of the pandemic, were they took those boxes, cut them in half, yanked the dividers out, and just
wrapped it in plastic. Yeah. I actually kept
Shrunk
my
the
bottom.
box, too.
When I took the plastic off, I didn't take it off. I just cut the plastic off the top of the box, left the plastic on the bottom to help support it. So when I carried a dozen jars into the basement, and then they all disappeared somehow in the recycling bin by somebody who's not sitting here right now. But that's all right.
But there are some other things, and I got some pictures to show you.
Mm-hmm.
The milk crate, yes. You take the cardboard, you cut the cardboard to the height you need it at, and the spacing of the jars, you cut little. You don't just make a cut; you cut out a piece as wide as the cardboard is. So it's got a little groove, got a little channel in there, and you cut a whole bunch of those. You turn them over, you fit them together, and voila! This is what you have there.
To be clear, those are the milk crates you buy at the store, not the ones you steal from restaurants. Don't do that.
Do not steal from restaurants. Only buy them at the store.
They pay $5 a piece on for a core charge on the milk crates, and if they don't get them back, they don't get the $5 back. So it's costly.
Yeah.
And if you have a really nice restaurant person or gas station place, sometimes the owner, not other people, the owner will sell them to you.
Yeah. Besides the milk crates, there are some other ones that you can get that you can buy at the store that are not square, they're rectangular, really wide. So you can get like 2 more rows of jars in there.
Yes.
See, when I store my jars, like when they're just sitting waiting to be filled, which is all the time. When I store my jars, I literally everything's super dry. My house is nice and dry. I put a ring, not the lid, just the ring. I don't crank it down. I just put it on there so it just stops. I use that to protect the lips because I lay my jars down and I alternate stack them so they don't smack the lip. And I've yet to have a jar break because I don't exactly throw them in the car and take them across country. But that's just for short-term storage, not moving, just sitting there. But yeah, I thought about making those for the move when we eventually move, but I haven't decided yet.
What on this is, I look at this and I see, all right, someone needs to sit the person down that did this and have a chat with them. Between the spaces of the jars, you don't need the big fat ones. You need the little thin ones you have on the end.
Yeah, quarter inch plywood strips work great.
1/8 inch. There's at Home Depot and stuff. There's stuff called bender board. It's
Yeah.
like lath board, 1/8 inch thick, 4 inches tall, and you can get that and do that with it. And now they make that out of plastic as well. The imitation looking wood, plastic resin, and sawdust and stuff, so it looks like it. But the wooden crate thing is something that'll last you for generations. Just you need to have
Right,
a
and
proper size wood.
If you design it right, you make the bottom of your crate so it sits on the top of another crate with the inset, so like a milk crate. So
you just tamper
slide
the
apart.
outside with a 90-degree lip on
Yep.
it, so it just sits in and locks in.
Right.
And Utah Mike is lurking. Now, when I've been moving all the jars that we were given that didn't come in boxes from down there in California up here to Idaho, I use those big totes, those black and yellow totes, 27-gallon totes you can get at Lowe's, Home Depot,
Yeah, except
Costco, Sam's Club.
They're thin.
Ace Hardware.
You got to be careful. They don't take a lot of weight.
They work just fine for the jars. But since my son was getting all these newspapers that he would read, they were the guards, the high-end security guards at this building where he was working at were told, hey, yeah, you guys are expected before shift, you get to come in. Your first 2 hours, you're doing nothing basic because you don't open the doors for everybody to come in. You're expected to read the New York Times. So he'd read the New York Times, he'd fold it up, bring it home. I had all this newspaper. I just kind of rolled up a jar up, put it in there, rolled another jar up, put it in there, roll. Yeah.
So when Lori and I moved from Jersey to Maryland the first time, we thought about the newspaper thing because you get them for free. The problem is you got to wash everything because of the ink and the staining. So I went out and bought I found a Staples or whatever. I bought a box of perforated computer paper in the 50-pound box.
Yes.
It was great.
Clean.
Super clean. 1 sheet, 2 sheets in between plates. And I still got stuff downstairs packed in it, but oh yeah, it was great because you unpack it, put it right on the shelf because it's clean. Well, it's cleaner than newspaper stuff. So yeah.
And Uncle Richard's in here.
Hey, Uncle Richard. That's Richard. Yeah. Tammy met Richard.
I have met
Right.
Uncle Richard. Nice guy.
So, let's see what else we got here. Now, I don't know where this is sold. I found this picture when I was looking for, protecting canning jars. I Googled it, and this was one of the pictures that came up. I clicked on it. It went to some thing they didn't give where you could get these at, but you can actually buy them now or whatever. But it's still, looking at these, it's like, it's still going to leave an awful lot of wasted space in there.
Yep.
But you can see the groove you got to cut out when you make your own.
Yeah, you got to cut the groove out just like that when you make your own. So they fit, they turn them over and they go together.
Halfway through.
Yeah.
Or more.
Then there is the
Hey, bubble wrap.
bubble wrap. Anybody that buys stuff from Amazon, save all your bubble wrap envelopes. And if I was going to go run out and grab one, I forgot to run out and grab them and looking again here. Hang on. Yes. One of these things here. They got bubble wrap in them too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the small ones,
ironically, saran wrap
fit
is
the jars
cheaper
nicely.
but you're gonna every jar has to go in a package. I literally use saran wrap when we move because you just don't want the glass clinking against glass. Now, when you're moving in a truck, hitting bumps, driving 400 miles, you might want to take some extra precautions. But I just wrapped each one in a little short thing of saran wrap. I bought at Sam's Club, like a 1,000-yard roll for $12. Wrapped them up, put them in there, and some of them still have saran wrap on them because I haven't needed them yet.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you don't need to put the bubble wrap envelope like that on every one of them. You put it on one, next one you put in the container. You put it on the next one, drop it in. So basically you got wrapped, non-wrapped, wrapped, non-wrapped, and basically the stuff's between all of them. And you stagger the next row and stuff.
Yeah,
works great.
That's why when you buy new jars, they have the rings and lids on them, obviously. When I store my jars, I just put the ring on there. I don't need a lid on there because I don't want to, have my lids have an issue at some point. So I just put a ring on there, and I stack mine glass to glass, but they don't move. They just sit there in a box or a tub waiting for me to say, hey, I need 27 pint jars, and I can't find them, so I open new ones. But anyway.
Yes, story of my life.
Here is the new wave one. So you got a jar, you got old socks, cotton ones, wool ones are a little bit thicker with padding, and you just take it and you cut it off. This is not an old sock; it's still good, but then you just stuff it in there. But you don't have to go all the way up. You just need to go up a little bit, and you can cut it off down here below the bottom, and you make a whole bunch of little cozies for them. And you just put them on there, and they're good.
That's for all those individual socks that you lost the mating pair to that are sitting they're sitting in the void somewhere with the missing Tupperware lids that we don't use anymore, but that's where they're at.
Oh, no, actually, it's not the missing Tupperware lids. It's the missing bowls because you got more lids than you have bowls.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to the bowls? Now,
personally, I think that's a great idea. However, if you have like 2,000 jars, you're going to find the cheapest. Yes, I know, Tammy, me too. You're going to find the cheapest method possible to pack them so they don't rattle around. You might break a few on the way, hopefully not. Yes, they're getting wrapped in computer paper, newspaper, something thin so you can fit as many as possible. Pack them in a box and pray that the mover doesn't drop the box.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you. You only have 2,000, man. You need to triple that amount.
I said when you have about 2,000. I don't know how many I have. I never count them. I just know I have what I need, probably more.
One thing, if you have them, if you stacking them on the shelf, and let me see if I got this other picture here. Hang on a second here. Settings.
I think I got about 300 that have food in it, maybe 400. And then the rest are all in boxes, tubs scattered everywhere. Plus my mom's jars with the bail lids.
What you can barely see above me here, they got them sitting on a shelf. The back picture for us is a bunch of them just on shelves, wooden shelves. If you live anywhere where you get a rumbly, shaky of the house, even if it's just near railroad tracks, and your train goes by and train going by. Jars tend to walk, even if they're full. And, we put some lath board up in front of the shelf, just a little bit to keep them from coming off. My grandmother had so many old socks with holes in the bottom of them and stuff from all her grandkids, and she had that done to. She cut a little bit, put it on there, and her some odd thousands of jars all had it on it because when she canned it, it was set there to cool down and stuff. When she went to put it on the shelf, she slipped one on it, put it on the shelf, put one on it, slipped it on the shelf. It was just it was all done that, and she never had a jar break on the shelf. It broke while they were being washed, getting ready for canning, because usually she had like 6 grandkids in there washing jars as fast as they could.
Yeah, and all you hear is clank, clank, clank. Oops.
Yeah, stop
blood everywhere. Wash them again.
Now, this is something my wife and I have gotten a bunch of these of. These are little plastic lids. And they just screw right on. Well, the other thing too, if I open up a jar of her
taco meat
jam, you can see how you can set the lid back on it in the fridge, but it doesn't really seal it. However, that keeps any of the odors from onions and other stuff from getting in the jam. And if you give it a little twist, you got it tight, and you take it off. Sometimes the lid stays inside the thing. Inside the plastic lid. But the other neat thing about this is it sticks out farther beyond the edge of the jars. They don't bang together. So that's another fun one here. Now, let's move on. Let me kill this thing over here. And we can talk about, there we go, the Food Summit. Well, the Food Independence Summit.
What
was the best part about it? Who was the best speaker?
Who was the best speaker, Mark? I've been there a lot. You tell me.
Well, I think the number one, and I can't remember their names. It was the guy. It was the this not CDC, but the guy that was a politician, whatever, that hung out with RFK.
Callie?
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
cool. I listened to everything he said, and even Richard was going, oh, yeah. Now, some people may not appreciate the things he was talking about, but everybody there did.
He wasn't
we're all
wrong.
pretty much, nope, wasn't wrong at all. And then the German guy, interesting. He was making fun of us. He's like, I know you Americans, you love your plastic, as we're all drinking out of Deer Park bottles. And because that's all we had. And everything's plastic forks, knives, spoons, plastic plates, everything's served in plastic. And he's just rolling his eyes. He's like, glass, stainless, something. And I listened to him. I recorded some of him.
Yeah, I got to talk to them for a while. They were amazing.
Yeah, I really didn't get much of a chance. We were too busy wandering around and hanging out with Tammy's table to just get too involved on all the talks, because the schedule, it didn't really tell you what time somebody was speaking. It was like they just gave a list of names who's speaking that day. So you had to, well, for me anyway, I couldn't find it. Maybe there was a list of the times.
It didn't have a time because they went a little more like freeform.
Yeah. And then you had the evening ones after the show was technically done. They still went on for 2 hours. I was like, and that wasn't even on the list. I was like, okay. So, but I enjoyed it. I met a lot of people. Everybody is so stinking nice there. It's scary. I mean, I gave one of the guys in one of the booths that he was it was just a sales booth outside, and he didn't have the tent stakes to hold his easy up down on with the extra ropes. He had the ropes. I was like, "Where's your stakes?" He's like, "I forgot them." I'm like, I didn't even know the guy. I'm like, "I got you." I picked up like 8 packs of Harbor Freight tent stakes. They're like giant nails with plastic on it. I just handed him a pack. I was like, here. His wife wanted to hug me the next day after that wicked storm we got.
Oh, yeah, because some people lost their whole tent.
Oh, yeah. She's like, oh, my God, thank you. It saved our tent. I was like, oh, okay, good. She's like, I'll take care of you. I'll give you a deal when we close. I was like, whatever. I don't care. I mean, I bought my wife a watering pig. It's the pink pig with the holes in the nose. It's a watering can. It's just a pig.
Oh, those people. Yes. They have the cutest. Oh, my mother would have loved the duck.
And of course I had the body. Wait for it.
I told you not to do that.
Well, I bought it because my dog irritates us with his squeaky balls, so I irritate him with the chicken.
Yeah.
The chicken.
My. Oh my.
Oh. And Chris just came in on your side there, Tammy.
Hello. And
Chris 12.
Okay. Welcome.
So yeah.
So,
How was what's his name? Begin. I just can't forget his name. Joel.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
Yeah, I listened to him.
There.
Yep.
I got to sit. I didn't get to see us talk this year, but I did get to sit and visit with him when I was trying to cool off in the green room for a little while. We just kind of sat side by side and didn't talk because he was real busy on his computer. I was doing stuff on my phone, but we did get to kind of hang out. I got to hang out with him for a few minutes, cool off. But
yeah,
he had another meet
he did
to
some
go
talks.
to.
Yeah.
And he talked twice, I think.
Yep. I caught one of them. I tried to record it, but it was so noisy with the wind and stuff. I know my GoPro didn't pick it up.
We had a thunderstorm come through. Courtney got 2 tornadoes north of us.
Oh, wow.
And we got a thunderstorm that came through.
So Courtney and Dustin didn't make it?
No. And
they had stuff going on that caught them off guard.
Yeah, I did stop and see them on the way home, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tammy. So, well, I have to preface with this. I've never met Tammy in person before in my life, but we've spoken so much on Facebook here, online, face-to-face, so to speak. Of course, I sent her a text. I was like, hey, what time are you coming? As I'm standing behind my picnic table, taking my sweaty shirt off to put a clean shirt on, and here she comes looking right at me. I'm like, oh, that's Rich.
Hi.
First time I meet somebody, and there I am doing a striptease on my picnic table. That's awesome. Yes. Unforgettable moments that burn in her brain now. So what was the no, and she walks Well, we say hi, quick hug. She walks right past me to go steal flowers off the. I'm like, where are you going? She's like, it's the. Oh my God, I'm having a brain.
Elderberry flower.
Elderberry.
Elderflower.
They're elderflowers. She's
Had a
like,
big bush behind his campsite.
Yeah,
right there.
I'm taking these, and I'm like, that's when
I'm
I
like-
texted. I asked Lewis. I was like, hey, tell me about because I was down there when I asked him, and he's like, oh yeah, do this, and I looked it up. Gil sent me a link. I literally cut a bunch of new growth branches off of it. It'll grow back, and brought them home. They're in a jar or in a bucket right now. Cut, no leaves on them. Just cut like they're like 10, 12 inches long each in water, like 6 inches deep. And everything I watched after Gil sent me the link, they just grow roots because they just want to grow.
Mhm.
I'm like, perfect. So they get roots on them. They're going in dirt. I will have hopefully 14 elderberry plants coming up here by the end of the year.
So, fun fact, last year I did that with Annabelle Trades.
In the same campsite?
No, we did it over by the main tent.
Oh, okay.
I didn't actually pick them last year. I just showed her what elderberry was, so she could identify it. And
Yeah, well, now I can identify it. I saw a ton of them on the roadside driving home.
There? She's like, what is that other white flower over there? And I'm like, I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. That's poison hemlock. Don't pick those.
Yeah, don't touch that one. Yeah.
But I was really looking at the one.
I know what it is. I just can't remember what it is. Let me taste it.
Yeah. So that night we got the wicked wind. We saw it coming. Uncle Richard and I go running down running. We're old guys. We
Waddling.
We walked briskly down to the tent, and here it comes. You could hear it coming. We're holding the easy up down. He's on one end, I'm on the other. And all of a sudden the tent literally folded itself flat. I was like, oh, that can't be good. And it ripped one of the seams. Now the tent itself is like a giant screen above 2 feet. The fly is what keeps the water out. And then the fly ripped on the windward side. And now I'm over there trying to pull it down tight against the tent, keep everything from getting wet. And then a leg pops off the easy up. And Richard's like, you might want to give me a hand here. I'm like, oh, crap. So I finished tying that down, put the leg back on. We stood there for an hour, basically getting rained on to keep the easy up from blowing away, watching the tent go flat over and over again. Nothing got destroyed. Nothing blew away except this portable bucket toilet. But we found that it was only like 20 feet away. And yeah, it was brutal. It was bad.
Well, I'm in the circus tent, and that whole thing went. It like took a great big breath.
All right, were you still up there when that came through?
When the one came through the first day, when it all of a sudden rained and thunder and lightning, yeah, I was up there in the tent. And
yeah, well, I think the second day, that's when the second one happened, or was it the first?
The second day we just got torrential rain for about 15 minutes, then it was gone.
Oh, that's right. It was the first because I was there Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. So it was Wednesday night. We got that's when that wicked storm came in, and that's when everybody lost all their easy ups and stuff on the outside vendors and that. And where were you for that? You had already left, hadn't you? Because that was like 6 o'clock.
I had left. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had left. We went. Did we go out and come back? I think we went out and then came back for that evening, so we missed it.
Okay. Now, Thursday night was the reason why I went. It calmed down. The wind died down to a nice, gentle 2-mile-an-hour breeze. It dropped down to like 64 degrees. You could see stars. And I bought enough wood for 3 campfires. We burned most of it on Thursday night. We were up until 1 o'clock in the morning, just sitting by the fire, looking at the stars. And I was like, this is camping. And of course, you told me last year it was in the 90s. And I was not looking forward to that for this year, going, I don't do well outside in a tent in the heat and humidity. Yeah, I'll sleep eventually. But no, it was the last night was the best night. Hey, they were live streaming some of the I think most of the speakers, they were live streaming it on their channel.
Yeah,
I don't know if those are they still available?
I believe so. I know the old ones are still up. Yes.
All right, because yeah, and I'm gonna go back and watch the ones I missed and
You
rewatch the ones
have
I
to,
couldn't hear it.
when you do the Superb YouTube channel, you have to search it out because it is set to children. And I cannot convince them that it needs to be set to something other than children.
No children, so they can play everything.
Yeah. So it doesn't send it out to anybody because it thinks it's like a kiddies cartoon. So it's not monetized, of course, because, but it's, doesn't send it out to anybody. Like, you won't get any notifications. You have to
Yeah, but can I find it
because
on their channel?
Huh?
Can I find it on their channel?
Yeah, you can search. If you search Superb, their channel comes up, or Superb Industries. Their channel comes up. It's just because it's set to children only. It doesn't.
Children. Okay, yeah.
Not even children. It's not even children. Okay, it's set to children. It's set like it's a cartoon.
Dumb. Yeah.
Well, it's just, yeah. And whoever set it up doesn't understand that doesn't mean, it's okay for everyone. They don't understand the settings. It's okay. It's just
it's made for children instead of no, it's not made for children.
Right.
They click the yes instead of the no.
The content is supposed to be made for adults, but it is family friendly. And there's the one children's only, then there's the adults family friendly, and then there's the adults only. And it's set at children only instead of the middle family friendly one.
Yeah.
So you have to search it out. It won't come up in your feed for you.
Okay.
And Shenanigans is here. So good to see you too, Shenanigans. So question. So Mark, you said you gave these guys some of your Harbor Freight tent spikes.
$6.
And you didn't have any on your pop-up? And you didn't have any on your pop-up?
Oh no. I had all my stakes. It didn't rip the stake out of the ground. It ripped the fly. The seam.
Oh, I meant for your pop-up. Your pop-up.
No,
we have a pop-up anywhere. Yeah,
the fly on top of the tarp. And no, we had 4 stakes in the ground on the Easy Up and 4 stakes on the ropes on the Easy Up. Those didn't rip out. It just lifted so hard it stretched the rope and popped the leg out. And then the tent, all those stakes were in. It pulled so hard and just literally the wind folded the tent over on its side, and it ripped the seam on the where they have like a double stitch seam around the perimeter of the fly, the rain fly, and that had a stake holding it out to the ground so you get some air circulation. Oh no, it ripped like a 20-inch strip on your ripstop nylon. So I'm gonna have to go back and either sew it up or hot glue it or something. I don't plan on going out camping in that kind of a wind anymore. So
I have a little family thing going on. My son lost his phone. I will be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, because we learned that. Oh geez, the first year I was Scoutmaster, and so like our Easy Ups and stuff we had over our dining picnic tables for our scouts at scout camp.
Right.
We put 8 spikes in the ground, 8 ropes going up to it, and then we didn't just use a regular, scout knot. We used a trucker's knot, and we cinched that sucker down into the ground.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. And like I said, the Easy Up, it didn't come off the ground. It may have pulled one of the stakes out because they're nylon ropes. They stretched a little bit. It was all the ropes that came on it. I didn't think I needed 27 ropes on this thing. Crap, I tripped on most of them every night. Richard was laughing his ass off. And it was a brand new tent. Thanks, Galen. Like literally, it was brand new. We had to open it out of the box and read the directions. I'm like, oh, this is new. I don't even know how this one goes. We figured it out. And then, of course, at the end, we pull out the directions. It's like, oh, we should have done this first. Oh, well, now it's a 2-minute install in setup instead of a 20-minute install. But you know what?
So if it was brand new and it ripped on the non-rip nylon.
Yeah, I bought it at Ollie's. I bought it at Ollie's. I can't bring it back to them. Coleman's going to tell me to stick it. And yeah, so I'm not worried about it. It only ripped the fly a little bit. I can fix that.
Yeah.
And but dude, you had to see it. I mean, I had 2 Coleman cots with our sleeping bags on, and those things weigh like 40 pounds each. The sleeping bags plus our gear in there. And when it folded down, you could see the outline of the cots in our sleeping bags and pillows. I mean, the wind just pushed it flat. But it
Oh
didn't rip the
man.
stakes out. And I had plenty of stakes, tons of rope with me, extra rope. And I was like, yeah, we don't need it. It was a little late. Once the wind hit, it's a little late to go run into the truck and get stakes and rope. You're too busy keeping stuff from flying away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good time. We didn't it didn't like rain anything out. I was so happy for the rain. I felt blessed because it actually cooled down when you're there with those canners, man.
Okay. Hang on, I just had a pop up here.
Oh, sorry. Did I miss something?
My
I
wife
walked
just
away for a
my wife
second.
just sent me an email for the I emailed her something earlier, and we've been emailing back and forth, and she just replied again about something for the grandkids. So hey, grandkids, okay, that's what you're doing.
Well,
Hey, Tammy, did you look at any of the videos? Because I never reviewed them. I just copy pasted them and sent them.
I have not had time.
Okay, that's fine.
When I came back, it hit 95 plus. It was like 98 the other day.
Jeez.
Day before yesterday. So I mean, the camper. I can't stay in the camper.
Mhm.
I can't even stand to be in the camper. I went out for an hour and I had an asthma attack because it's so hot. So
Yeah.
I'm staying at, as you can tell, I'm staying at my daughter's till it cools off. Hopefully it'll cool off tomorrow. So it's supposed to storm tomorrow. So
did you get more All-American canners again?
no, they raffled them off this year, which was nice. So they went to 2 people in the audience on the last day, which was really super nice.
I didn't get one because if I got one, it would have gone to Richard. If Richard got one, it would have gone to Richard. We didn't get one. He's fine with that because I got 4 of them, so he's not worried about it. They did walk around at the end, and I was sitting there in front of Tammy and that, and they're like, hey, and it was the store. What was the store right across from us on the side there?
Lehman's Hardware?
Lehman's. Yeah, Lehman's. They walk over with a box of stuff, and she walks up to me. She's like, do you can? I was like, well, yeah. She's like, here, pick something. I was like, okay. So I pulled out the largest box that was in there, and it was heavy. I thought they were rings. No, they're wide mouth lids, like 60 of them. I was like, wow. And then Richard grabbed another box, whatever's left, another wide mouth of the small ones, like 12. He grabbed that. Meanwhile, I bought another sleeve because I paid for a sleeve of lids, the 13 dozen, whatever it is that they normally sell at the store up here. I bought it end of last season, I think in like October. I bought a sleeve. It was like almost $50. And I bought one. I'm like, okay, well, it's superb. And I think I sent Tammy a picture. I was like, is this the company you're talking about? She's like, yes. I was like, perfect. And then, but they were selling sleeves of the standard lids for $25 and sleeves of the wide mouths for $30. I'm like, I technically don't need any right now, but I will. So I bought one of each of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't need jars. So I could have bought a pallet of jars and been happy, but I don't need any more jars. My wife would kill me.
Speaking
but their
of
jars
lids,
are so good. They're tempered glass. I just want to say that their jars, they have the argon glass jars, so they are good.
Oh, they're
jars.
beautiful and they're smooth. They don't have some name with a bunch of like grape things like imprinted in the glass all over it, which obviously probably makes them a little cheaper to make. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's a Kerr.
Yeah. This is an old Kerr jar.
Right, but their jars don't even have a logo or name on it. Nothing. They're just jars, but they're super smooth. They're beautiful. And you can put a sticker on it and it'll fit anywhere.
Yep.
Or a label, not like these other jars where you have to put it in a specific little spot and it has all the measurements and things on it. It's like, okay, those jars, their jars, superb jars are made for people who can. They're also made for people who are new to canning, but the older jars always have the measurements of, milliliters and ounces on it. I don't need that. I mean, unless I'm using it for a measuring cup, which I do sometimes.
I did at the summit just because it was easier.
So did I.
Yeah. This one's so old it doesn't have measurements on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just has a name on it and advertisement.
They say but this one says "per" in print and in parentheses, self-sealing.
Yeah, I
Wide
asked him. I was
mouth
like, "Do you guys sell just the rings?" And the one, I forget the one dude that was there. He's like, "We're trying." He's like, "We're trying to figure out how to pack and how many we can pack in a box." I was like, "You can't pack many because they're so hollow. You can't interstack them." He's like, "Yeah, we're trying to figure out how many we can fit in like a case and a box and this." I'm like, "Not as many as you'd like." I said, "Just make a box up that holds 12 and sell them like that, or sell them in a bag."
Yeah. So
You
that's
really-
the thing too. Is the rings last quite a while if you take care of them.
Right.
See, this is the thing I've never understood. My canner goes in things of 9. It does 9 or 18. It does not do 12. So if I have to do, if I need 18, I've got to buy 2 boxes anyway.
Yeah.
If I buy 1, then I have 3 jars left over. I've never understood why they sell it in dozens, but the canners all fit in 9s. I've just never understood that.
Some of the water, the granite ware, you can get 12 or 18.
Again,
some of the
the 18 is a unit of 9.
Yeah.
No, it's a unit of 12 and a half.
12 and a half.
So it's 12 plus 6. So if you got 36 jars to do, you can do it in 2 batches.
Yeah.
I mean, my 930, I did it one time. I'll never do it again. I can triple stack pints in that thing. That's some freaky stuff right there. And I did it because I had a lot of beans I was doing. I'm like, ooh, look, they fit now. I forget how many I could fit on the bottom. I could fit one more jar on the second level, but on the top level, I could only fit like 7 because it was so close to the lid. It was close. But I think I got like 26 jars or pint jars in there, triple stacking it, which they don't say you can do, but I'm like, why not? I mean, it's pressure is pressure. Here we are.
The granite work we had for water bathing, we could fit 12 quarts in there.
Yeah. Well, just get one of those giant Amish square ones that just sit on a campfire.
Then you can fit 36 quarts in those.
You can fit 24 gallons in there if you wanted to.
Yeah. But speaking of lids, Saturday, my wife was doing the second batch of apricot jam, the last batch. And she tried on 3 of the jars using some of the Tatler lids I gave her. First time using the Tatler lids. And I
never went for them. You
need to have more headspace. You can't just go with a 1/4-inch headspace like your little recipe book says. And
Tatler has their own rules. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was jam, and she was doing she wasn't water bathing it. She was pulling the jars out of really hot water, taking the boiling stuff jam, putting it in there, filling it up to about that much headspace, put the lid on it, ring, turn it upside down, put it on the
okay. Yeah,
on the thing. And the first batch you did, no problems. The Tatler she had problems with. The other one she had no problems with. And I tried to warn her ahead of time. You need more headspace for the Tatler so it can actually suck down in.
If she's doing the not even Rebel version of hot jars, hot fluid, flip the jar, you get what you get. I don't know. Tammy has her thoughts on that too. I will never do the fill up a hot jar with hot liquid and then just flip it over. Flipping it over does nothing.
Yeah.
Physics is physics. The air is going to contract whether or not you're cured.
The only purpose for flipping the jar was to sanitize, using your food to sanitize. I'm not sure that's a great idea. No. Sanitize that space that you didn't put hot food in.
Yeah.
That kind of counterintuitive.
It was jam. And she goes, it's jam. If it doesn't seal, no big deal. If it just one doesn't seal, that's the one that's going to go in the refrigerator with one of these lids on it.
Yeah.
But all 3 of them didn't seal, and she goes, I'm just gonna do it again tomorrow and just use a regular Kerr lid on it.
Yeah,
and do
well,
it.
12 minutes in a water bath isn't that long. So, yeah, or 14 or 18, whatever.
Yeah. But the interesting thing was, and I haven't had the conversation with her yet, so I kept trying to tell her, you may want to know how to do an inch, but you want to go at least down to the, don't fill it higher than the shoulder.
Yeah, it's about 3/4 of an inch.
Jim, you can do this, that. I said, okay. When I brought the jars up here, 2 of them popped because there wasn't enough air space in there for it to create a solid enough vacuum to go from sea level to 4,700 feet.
Mhm.
Well, that's a different issue in itself.
But to me, but it's like, if all the old recipes said only up to the shoulder, I don't trust the new one saying, oh, you can go to a 1/4 inch. It's like, physics tells me you don't have enough air shrinking down in there to really put a good seal on it.
Right. So I did my cowboy candy 2 years ago. Well, and I'm due again this year. I left about 3/4 of an inch of headspace because it was water bath, and I store them. And then my niece wanted like 12 of them. I'm like, that's fine. She lives in Denver. I was like, I gave it to my sister. I put the rings on there and I put them on tight. And I said, now they're going to pop. You're going to hear popping sounds as you're going up the mountain. And she called me up. She was like, oh my God, you weren't kidding. I was like, right. I said, because the vacuum inside is now negated by the air pressure on the outside as you go up in elevation. I said, give them to my niece, give them to Taylor. I said, just let her hold them. They're going to, the lids will eventually pull back down. And they did. They pulled back down again, but the rings were on there nice and tight. I said, then once they pull back down, take the rings back off. But she ate them within like 2 months. They were gone, so it didn't matter. But it was really weird because I was like, yeah, oh my God, I've never said anything to Colorado. So yeah, the vacuum inside during a water bath is not as strong as pressure canning vacuum that forms inside there because of the higher temperature pressures and that. And I got lucky. She got lucky, and there was nothing wrong with them. I mean, they popped up going up the mountain, like I told her, and then a couple of them pulled back down. Not all of them, but she left the rings on there because she knew they were still not infected with bacteria inside. The air that was in there, the sanitized air, was still sanitized air. It was just a little bit more volume of it. So yeah, it whatever. I mean, think about it. If you take a jar,
I'm having to
heat it up and take water bath, an empty jar, put a ring on, put the lid on there and ring it, and then drive it up on top of the mountain. The lid's going to pop off because the air pressure is equalized. The lack of air pressure.
Yeah, Shenanigans is right.
Okay, here's the thing about what Shenanigans is saying.
Oh yeah,
when I lived in Arizona, was at 7,000 foot elevation. Okay, we actually had we had the bags, the chip bags actually pop.
Oh yeah, because they're made at sea level, and it's not that more pressure is on the inside. It's now there's less pressure on the outside. Now imagine if you were in space. Forget that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyways, what was so funny is the canning my mom did there at 7,000 foot. When we moved those jars down to sea level,
you couldn't open them.
Oh, we wound up. We had to use a regular old fashioned bottle opener to pop those lids off. We weren't using those lids again.
No, or you just take a knife and pop a hole in the middle of it and let it go, and then you can take them right off. But you're not sealing it back up to put it in the fridge. You better eat it all.
Yeah, but yeah, it was funny. We were at there saying, finally get it pop loose, and it's like, and the lid said to be flat. Now went like that on the one end. Yeah.
You could probably buckle lids by bringing them down from higher elevations down below. If they were pressure canned up there, you bring them down, you might buckle a lid.
Yeah.
Because there's more air pressure on the outside now.
Yeah. So yeah, I've talked to my wife. She's thinking about it. We'll see how things sit next year, whether or not we're going to make it to the summit.
Cool.
It'd be, I would love to be able to make it back to the summit. The other thing is we're also thinking about there's a place up here north of us called Silver Spur Ranch. I talked about it on Friday's live stream for first day of summer, your vacation stuff, everything. And they do a week of horseback riding, moving horses from one pasture way up into the mountains to the other one, and the next week they move them back down, and they just move them around, and they, the money they make off of that, doing that, they helps offset for the ranch and stuff. But it's one of those things. It's like I haven't done that since my between my junior and senior year in high school, when my brother and I worked the cattle up there on the north rim of the Grand Canyon.
There you go.
And it's like, she goes, "Why would you want to do that?" And it's like, until you do it, I can't really explain it to you. But she's given that a little bit of consideration. But I think the summit is winning for her.
Yeah, maybe next year they'll do have a area for freeze drying, just like Tammy did with Canning and Sarah. Maybe they'll have one for freeze drying. Not that I'm going to tote my freeze dryer out there, but if Harvest Right decides, hey, we'd like to join this show, well, hell yeah. I'd love to join you and give you a whole lot other insights other than what Harvest Right gives in terms of, when it says it's done, feel for a cold spot. If there's no cold spots, it's done. Yeah, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But they don't want to hear it.
All right. Okay, so coming up here, Tammy, are you going to try to go live this week?
I cannot do it on my not so usual Thursday spot, so I'm just going to say no, and maybe I'll pop up.
Yeah, so look for a pop-up live stream. Mark, are you going to try something this week?
I'm getting closer, but it's so freaking hot. I went out and picked beans tonight, and I'm like, oh my God, the mosquitoes were killing me. There's zero wind. It was 94 degrees. I'm up there picking snap peas, and I picked a bunch of yellow beans. I think I picked most of the ripe yellow beans. Started picking purple beans, and then I watered everything, and I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore. I was soaking wet from sweat.
Yeah. All right. So
one thing though,
Ed?
Mark did film every single minute of me at the summit, and so I have a lot of videos to edit and put up. So we just don't know how well they came out because of where I was sitting, but it was in front of the speaker. So when the microphone was working,
for Tammy to be posting those videos over the next.
When the microphone was working, you could hear her. When the microphone wasn't working, you couldn't. But we fixed that for you. I'll just say for you, and we talked about that. I was laughing at somebody else. Anyway.
So here on my channels, tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping, my other channel, it is odors that can cause you trouble in disasters. And we're not just talking end of the world, we're talking, just normal disasters, that, happens, life and stuff. Thursday is the Midnight Ride on Gray Man Prepping. Friday here on Camp Patton Family Compound, pole barn evolution. And we're going to talk about how pole barns have changed from the ones that my dad used to put up back before I was a twinkling in his eye, to the ones we used to put up when I was teenager, to the ones I've seen them put up now and talk about. Saturday on Gray Man Prepping is after your home is destroyed, what are your plans? Part of the disaster series going on there. On next Monday here, pre-cooked meals. We're kind of revisiting this for pre-cooked meals, for like a one-jar meal type thing where everything's done, cooked, ready to go, and all you got to do is heat it up again. Or if you're stuck in a bad situation, you hope you canned it good, and you're just going to eat it cold.
Tammy's going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, I know. You're supposed to reheat everything, but sometimes if you're in an emergency,
I'm just trying to be good over here and not say much.
If you're in an emergency, and she'll be able to talk about this then. But sometimes if you're in an emergency, you eat what you eat.
Come on, every Boy Scout has eaten cold Chef Boyardee out of a can, right, Gil? Yep. Don't say you never did it. I know you did it.
I've never eaten Chef Boyardee, but I've eaten plenty of Van Camp's beans and wieners out of a can.
Yeah,
plenty of those.
You can eat it. Yep.
And regular Denison's chili straight out of the can, unheated. But yeah. Anyways, folks, that's what's coming up here on my channels here. And I want to thank everybody for coming in on both of our channels here. And if you have any suggestions or questions for either of us, Tammy's email is rebelcanners@gmail.com. Mine is Camp Patton Family Compound, one word, no spaces, @gmail.com.
And I'm actually working on my own email that I don't have to worry about stuff. Because my emails right now I use for everything, and I don't need those hacked in. But I'm working on another one for my other channel that I can give out.
Right.
There you go.
Okay, so with that, we're gonna say goodbye, and tell you guys, hey, if you don't think about it, look into it, and we'll see you. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow on Gray Man Prepping for Tactical Tuesday. Take care, everyone.
Have a good night. Bye.